What's going on, you guys? This is your boy Grim back with another video, and today we have the Ice Barrier deck profile. I've been talking about this for a while on the channel, but I don't know how Dark Armor Duelist does it. It is time consuming to build a deck and to test it. So yeah, just wanted to show you guys what I build. Probably not the most competitive Ice Barrier deck you're gonna find, but I just want you guys to check out what I've been playing with. So uh, if you guys enjoy this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get going. So first off, I run 3 Repealer of the Ice Barriers. As you guys probably know, when you normal summon, your opponent, if you control another Ice Barrier on the field, your opponent can tribute summon monsters. Sorry. Also, you can discard a card from your hand to special summon a level 3 or lower tuner from your deck. So she's a pretty good 3-off. I usually go with her, but yeah. And then we also have Speaker of the Ice Barrier. You can special summon her from your hand if you control an Ice Barrier monster, and you can also banish her from your graveyard to special summon a token Ice Barrier level 1 with attack 0, defense 0. Also, Revealer of the Ice Barrier, when she's in the graveyard and you are forced to discard for whatever reason from your hand, you can banish her instead, and it pretty much works its effect out, so you don't have to discard. I also run 2 General Weight of the Ice Barrier. So I used to run 3 of them, but he gets kind of cloggy because he is a level 5. If you control another Ice Barrier, you can special summon him from your hand. When he's special summoned, you can add an Ice Barrier card or magic or trap card from your deck to your hand. So it's a pretty good card to have, but like I said, it gets cloggy because he is a level 5. So I only run 2 of them. Also, I do run 2 Hexa Spirit of the Ice Barrier. Also, this card, when it's on the field, your opponent monsters lose 500 attack, and you can activate its effect by sending a card from your graveyard or from your deck to the graveyard that's a level 3 or lower tuner monster, and it gains its level. So I usually try to go for Sujin of the Ice Barrier or Prior of the Ice Barrier. So it's a pretty good card. So as I just showed you guys, Prior of the Ice Barrier, if you control an Ice Barrier, you can special summon him from your hand. Also, once per turn, if you can special summon a level 5, I believe, or higher monster, that turn you summon this card this way, and you can also tribute summon him to special summon a monster from your graveyard. Alright, Sujin of the Ice Barrier. When this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon him by, say, lowering any of your other Ice Barrier monsters by 2, and it has to be from a level 4 or higher. And if you use this effect that way, at the end of the after he leaves the field, he gets banished. I do run a Defender of the Ice Barrier just to stop your opponent from attacking. Anything over 1600, your opponent can attack as long as you control another Ice Barrier. And then I also can play the Humanizer of the Ice Barrier. If you have him on the field, your opponent level 4 or higher monsters, or yours as well, can attack. So it kind of blocks everything, but I mean, if you have XCs or links or any of that stuff, you can go ahead and actually attack with those, since they don't control any levels. Alright, so for the other cards that I do play that they're not Ice Barriers, I play Dino Wrestler, Pancross, just one of them, so you can pop anything on your opponent's side of the field. And Hand Traps, I run 3 Ash Blossoms just from stopping your opponent from touching their deck. So as you guys already know, Ash Blossom just kind of stops adding cards from the deck to the hand or sending cards from the deck to the graveyard, all that kind of stuff. Also, run 2 Effect Veilers. I feel like stopping your opponent on its tracks when he activates an effect monster. You can usually just Effect Veiler, and they can't really do anything. I do run 1 Ghost Ogre just because a lot of times when you play against cards that have, say, magic or trap cards, you can just pop them if they're continuous or fuel cards. So pretty useful. That's it for the monster lineup, you guys. And let's see. We'll go ahead and go into the spells. Okay, so for the spells, we run 3 Medallion of the Ice Barrier. Pretty self-explanatory. It adds Ice Barrier monster from your deck to your hand, so pretty good. I do play 2 Freezing of the Ice Barriers as well. You can, when you activate this card, you get your special summon a monster from the graveyard that's a level 4 or lower. And if you can draw 3 or more monsters or ice barriers on your side of the field, they cannot be targeted by your opponent special summon monsters from the extra deck. So it's a pretty good card. I don't know, maybe I don't like it as much, or I don't like the build up, but I don't use it as much because, or the second effect, I don't use it as much because I hardly ever keep 3 or more ice barrier monsters on the field. So with today's meta, it's just really hard to keep monsters on the field. 1 wing of the ice barrier, wings over the ice barrier, sorry. So this card, you can just tribute any cards on the field or any ice barriers and special summon that many from your deck. When this card is on the graveyard, you can banish it and add an ice barrier monster from your graveyard, or banish cards to your hand. So pretty good one-off. I don't like using 2 or more. I feel like it gets cloggy because a lot of times if you open up this, and say high-level monsters, then it becomes a lot of bricks. Alright, so for the other cards, I do run 1 creature swap. A lot of times, if I don't have monsters, I normal summon something weak, kind of like Hexa, and then I can just go ahead, creature swap, and hopefully my opponent has something better than me. Rate of Greed, if you draw 2, or if you have 2 water monsters and you send them back to your deck, shuffle it, you can draw 3 cards, so draw power. I do have 1 Abstar Goblin, Raigeki, to destroy all opponent monsters on the field. Harpy's Feather to destroy back road. Call by the Grave, stopping your opponent's monster from activating their effects on the graveyard. And I do run D1 Monster Reborn. I was originally running another Freezing of the Chains, but like I said, it just kind of feels cloggy. And if I don't have anything on the grave that it's an actual ice barrier, then Monster Reborn is actually slightly better because I can just bring back anything. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the spell, guys, and let's go ahead and go into the trap cards. So for the trap cards, I played 3 Crackdown just because it is a basic generic card. It's still your opponent's monster. Its effects negated and he can attack, but your opponent's left without a monster. So it's actually pretty fun, especially when they summon, say, a Link or anything like that, and they're trying to go for another Link. If you steal their first Link monster, then they can't do anything. Like, they're just stopped. So pretty cool. I run 2 Infinite Impermanence just from stopping your monster or opponent's monster's effects, and you can use them from your hand, as you guys know, to negate it if you have nothing on the field. So pretty good card. I also run 1 Solemn Judgment and a Finish Chain just for same, targeting a monster, negating its effect, and being able to do that. So this lineup has 40 cards on the deck, so hopefully you guys like that. Now for the extra deck, I run 1 Trishula, 0 Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Pretty generic card. Special summon hand, you get to banish 3 cards on your opponent's side of the field. If this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect or attack or battle, whatever, you get your special summon the Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, from your extra deck, and it gets a boost of, or his attack becomes 3300, and your opponent's monsters lose half of their attack. So pretty good card. I run 2 Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier just because that card is actually pretty good. When you get your special summon it or synchro summon it, you get to banish a card from your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard. So it's actually pretty cool. We got Good Need, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. When this card is synchro summon, you can target the same, or you can discard up to 2 cards from the field and target the same number your opponent controls and destroy them. So another pretty good card. I don't summon him that much. I just feel like discarding cards for a cost or effect with this deck is a little bit hard because a lot of times you don't have a lot of cards in your hand. So just kind of like a heads up on that. We also have Byronic, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. It's pretty much the same thing as this guy, except that instead of destroying them, he returns the cards to the hand. So returning a Link or, like I said, any Fusion or XE monster on your opponent's side of the field is actually pretty good. So TG Hyper Librarian, that's another one that I have because he's actually pretty good. Level 5. A lot of times when you summon your Ice Barrier Revealer, and then I usually choose Hexa. If your opponent negates Hexa, then you're stuck with a level 5. So I go for Librarian if I could, but it usually has to wait a turn too, because once you special summon her or use her effect, then you have to wait a turn, because you can only activate, or you can only special summon water monsters when she's on the field or when your effect is activated. So next I use Behemoth Shark. It's one of them. You can discard a card and you get special summon level 3 or lower XC monster. So for that I use Totally Awesome. And Totally Awesome is on the field, and your opponent activates a magic trap or effect monster. You can negate it and destroy it, and destroy an aqua monster on your side of the field. So what you destroyed is just itself. So pretty good card. I use number 82 Harleton Draco as well. When he's on the field, you control a magic card, your opponent can't target this card. So also, if you detach an XC monster from it, you can attack your opponent directly. I use Tornado Dragon just for back row. If your opponent has any back row, you can get rid of it. And then I use number 37 Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. When you or your opponent activates or attacks or declares an attack, your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack points. And also, if this card is destroyed sent to the graveyard, you can special summon. Let's see. Sorry, I forgot this one. I don't use it as much. This card is destroyed with battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard. You can target one other monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So it basically special summons any other monster in the graveyard. If you, for whatever reason, have Trishula or Trishula Zero Dragon and they were special summoned in the correct way, you can actually special summon them back. So that's why I run one off. Alright, number 96, level 2. I actually make him quite a lot, and you guys are going to see why. So I make him quite a lot. Whenever he attacks, you can half your opponent's monster and he gains half of their attack. And if you do so, you can just basically attack over whatever your opponent has, and they lose 100 life points, because that's the only difference that you have. So it's a pretty good one-off. Whenever I actually use him, I end up using Downer Mortician as the other reattachment, and then I use the double or Divine Arsenal double Asus. So that's a pretty good card. And then if you do that, you actually end up with 4 materials attached to Zeus, so you can blow up the field twice. So that's gonna be it for this one, you guys. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoy this profile. Let me know what you guys would have done it to make it better. If you guys have any ideas, I've seen a lot of deck profiles online, but I just didn't want to copy them. I wanted to build my own. So that's what I have for you guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.